I, like my colleagues before me, rise to my contribution on Budget 2021. My first task, sir, would be to congratulate the Honorable Finance Minister, Dr. Ashni Kumar Singh, for his eloquent presentation of this budget. Congratulations are also extended to the staff of the Ministry of Finance as well as the other aligned agencies for their hours of hard work, meticulous research, and analytic depth. Mr. Speaker, I also express my gratitude to those individuals from other political parties, the private sector, the labor movement, and civil society whose contributions have also informed this budget. Sir, over the past 32 hours of this debate, we were overwhelmed with episodes of orchestrated racist and inflammatory untruths and half truths from the opposition benches. Mr. Speaker, two recurring mantras of the members on the opposite side were the budget has nothing for black people and that there is nothing for public servants. Mr. Speaker, both of these venomous assertions are misleading and, to say the least, mischievous. The opposition must be reminded, Mr. Speaker, that they are entitled to their own opinion, but not to their own twisted set of facts. Firstly, without a doubt, Mr. Speaker, all Guyanese, irrespective of ethnicity, religious persuasion, or political affiliation, shall benefit equally from the measures outlined in this budget. The operative words here, Mr. Speaker, are all Guyanese. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, every member who spoke so far has repeated the misinformed untruth or of no monies being allocated for salary increases for public servants. Mr. Speaker, these pathological untruth propagators on the opposite side continue to spew their divisive propaganda, even though explanations were provided on several occasions as to where the monies for salary increases are located in the budget. Once again, sir, let me reiterate that the funds allocated for salary increases are located within line item 6141 in this budget 2021. But this administration will be engaging the GPSU and other relevant trade unions before announcing a percentage increase. Mr. Speaker, these opposition members are barefaced and cunning, to say the least. These said members who continue to rant and rave about wanting to see the mention of a percentage salary increase in the budget never themselves ever mentioned any percentage increase for public servants in their budgets from 2016 to 2019. For ease of reference, sir, I would like to point members to the consideration of estimates for the 2019 budget of the Ministry of Finance, where a question was asked by the then opposition member of parliament, Mr. Irfan Ali. And I quote the response that was given by the then Minister of Finance. I could tell you that until we finish discussions with the GTU and GPSU in respect to 2019, it would be presumptuous of me to give numbers or percentages. We have set aside a total there, and hopefully it will be enough for any increases that we agree to with the union. Mr. Speaker, this exact statement is mentioned twice in that very Hansard at page 28 and page 29 when that question was asked again by the honorable member Irfan Ali. Mr. Speaker, The Honorable Minister of Finance detailed a comprehensive budget and a plan to steer this country out of what seemed like a dark night of nepotism, wastage, and mismanagement, and put us in a direction which will kickstart our economy and stymie the resource leakage of the past government. Specifically, Mr. Speaker, we will focus on macroeconomic economy stability, investor confidence, productivity, international competitiveness, development of the country's manpower resources, improving governance and structures, social advancement, and significant improvement in the quality of life of all citizens. Mr. Speaker, this government shall strengthen governance and human resource management in the public service. This will require a sustained effort at developing a culture of efficiency and customer care in all of our government ministries, departments, and state agencies. We will accelerate the use of information and communication technology across the public service to improve decision making and to deliver quality service to the citizens of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Labor will intensify the National Skill Needs Assessment Program, which has already commenced. This study, sir, will identify the skill gaps within the local economy, thereby guiding education and training needs that are aligned with labor market information. The government, sir, will intensify its focus on improving the operational efficiency and financial sustainability of the Guyana Water Authority. Already, we have begun to see the results of these efficiency measures. The results, Mr. Speaker, are beginning to happen. The anxiety on the other side would probably rise, but we have committed ourselves to resolving people's water problems, and resolved they shall be. Mr. Speaker, allocations are also made for our agricultural incentive program, aimed at assisting local farmers in overcoming the major challenges faced in that sector. This program will provide support to farmers in the form of subsidized fertilizers, land preparation, pest management, post-harvest marketing, and enhanced livestock extension services. There are also incentives to encourage youth entrepreneurship in agriculture and fisheries, the provision of security in the agricultural sector, and for agro-processing. Not to forget, Mr. Speaker, that this PPPC administration has removed the duty from all agricultural machinery. Mr. Speaker, we will also upgrade the youth entrepreneurship and apprenticeship centers to increase the intake of students as well as to further engender the shift to one of self-reliance and empowerment. It is envisaged that every region will have a training center. Mr. Speaker, the task ahead is great indeed, and heavy is the responsibility. Yet, it is a noble and glorious challenge, a challenge which calls for courage, resilience, and commitment of all. Surely, without a doubt, Mr. Speaker, this budget that sows the seed for renewal, growth, and radical transformation of our communities and, by extension, our country as a whole. It is the duty of all of us to nurture the seeds and ensure that it blossoms into bountiful harvests. This is a budget, Mr. Speaker, that surely reopens the door to a brighter, prosperous future for all Guyanese to finally enjoy that promised good life that evaded them for the last 5 years. Mr. Speaker, the fact is that the present environment calls for proactive management, visionary leadership, and the ability to create partnerships with stakeholders throughout the economy. It also requires, especially, that the poor and vulnerable are not unduly impacted, not only because this is morally justified, but also because it ensures a social stability and continuing commercial activity, which keeps business activity going. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that the opposition has missed the mark. The opposition is out of touch with the realities and aspirations of the very everyday, ordinary Guyanese. Sir, all of a sudden, the members on the opposite side are professing concern about the measures in the budget which are designed to provide a better life for all. They want to know why, they want to know by what mechanism the poor and needy, as they have described our people, will benefit from the measures. By the Ministry of Finance implementing further taxation. Mr. Speaker, believe it or not, but this same APNU AFC cabal from the former administration is unashamedly trying to tell us how to conduct our safety net policy. It will serve them well for their future political careers if they would look, listen, and learn from the PPPC when it comes to building the economy and providing for our people. I want to assure you that we can and we will implement the policies and programs to create wealth for our people and for this great nation. Mr. Speaker, I need not remind this House that the PPPC government emerged out of the citizens' desire to be governed by a political party which reflects the diversity of our nation and which stand willing and ready to pilot the journey to a new horizon of growth and development. This is the basis of the national consensus, which endorsed our philosophy of a people-centered development and our vision of building a secure, prosperous, and sustainable nation. Mr. Speaker, constructive engagement is also about 21st century international benchmark, where practices of political civility and comity are paramount. Objective disagreement and cordial discussion should be the preferred relationship between government and opposition, rather than engaging in public posturing brinkmanship brinkmanship. But it is clear, Mr. Speaker, that this opposition's doctrine is that once you are in the opposition, your duty is to oppose anything introduced into this House by the government. And just a few minutes ago, sir, the Honorable Member, Mr. Duncan, said that we will not support this budget and we will never ever support any budget brought to this House by the government. Mr. Speaker, this currency of hate and divisiveness has no place in our society. We ought to know better than that. Respect in our society is becoming an increasingly scarce commodity. There seems to be a general breakdown in basic good manners and respect across many spheres, even in this honorable House. Mr. Speaker, it is my hope that all of us in this honorable House will recommit ourselves to ensuring that we rise above the political fray and keep our gaze firmly focused in this central objective of uplifting and advancing the development of our country and our people. Mr. Speaker, we in the government have not claimed that everything is going right. We would not claim that everything is going right. Challenges remain, but there is no one in this House who could have predicted that, who could have predicted the positive outcomes we are experiencing given the negative results we faced even 6 months ago. Mr. Speaker, no one could have predicted a recovery in the level of confidence in our economy by our international partners. But this has not come about by chance. This has come about because of focused, dedicated hard work. There are real prospects for expanding economic activity and employment. reason enough to continue on the path we have outlined. This is not the time for wild speculative policy shift based on inadequate or out of date information.
And this is the time for you to get an extension, Honorable Member.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask for an extension of 5 minutes for my colleague to conclude his presentation.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, Dr.
Thank you, Mr.
Westford, you
Speaker.
may continue to conclude.
Thank you. This is a time to address issues of problems using analysis rather than appeal to magical solutions. The public response, both domestic and external, has been rewarding. The message is clear. There is increased confidence in the economy and in our ability to meet the challenges which we face. Mr. Speaker, Guyana is a country of ambitious people, all trying to get ahead. We all want better. We all want better for our own lives and for our families, and we all want to get ahead, and rightly so. This government has prepared a historic budget that is focused on empowering every Guyanese, providing them with greater economic freedom, opportunity, and independence, while protecting the most vulnerable in our society, especially our young people. We are moving in the right direction, Mr. Speaker, and we fully intend to continue to improve on these achievements as we seek to build a society that promotes both growth and equity. Mr. Speaker, the people of Guyana were presented with two options going into the elections of March 2nd. One option was to keep things as they were, unrelenting hardship, unending belt tightening, lack of accountability in government, arrogance in government, negligible economic growth, joblessness, and increased crime. The other option, sir, was to enter into a partnership of prosperity with the PPPC and traverse the road to prosperity and a better life. Mr. Speaker, the people chose the PPPC and the prosperity. Mr. Speaker, the path to prosperity is not an easy one, but we must face the task in a sure-footed and purposeful way. There will be the inevitable obstacles, but this government has a plan to achieve that prosperity as a people. And we know that plan must be inclusive, providing educational opportunities, proper health care, support for our entrepreneurs, provide decent housing for our people, and improvement of our environment. In return, our plan calls for us to be more productive in everything we do. We must be prepared to confront each obstacle with diligence and courage. We must continue to take bold and essential decisions that will rescue our future by building prosperity first in our minds and then in our pockets. This is the essence of our partnership for prosperity. Mr. Speaker, as I close, there is a famous prayer that I feel moved to leave with everyone in this beloved country. In this prayer, there is a threefold request to God for serenity, courage, and wisdom. Serenity is a prayer for peace to accept what cannot be altered in oneself. Courage is a request for fortitude to overcome obstacles to achieve what is possible. And the wisdom is a prayer for discernment to know when to accept a situation and when to be bold and to challenge it. And so today, let us pray to God that He will give us the strength of our conviction to provide good governance to our people and to be bold and courageous as we make decisions that are essential to our success. The prayer, Mr. Speaker, goes as follows. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I again call upon the public sector workers, Mr. Speaker, not to be influenced by political rhetoric. The development of our human resources is the most vital element in the development of our nation. We have demonstrated the necessary leadership to make this vision a reality. Together, let us press on to prosperity as we partner together in shared sacrifice and collective vision. Together, let us work on building the foundation of our economy. We have the opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to make a lasting difference, to be felt over time by ourselves and our children for generations to come. It is time to unite and press on to prosperity with the firm determination and hard work that will make us great as Guyanese. If we hope together, sir, endure together, and work hard together, we will achieve together. Mr. Speaker, I therefore would like to register my endorsement and support for this 2020 budget.